Hey, fourth grade, how are we doing? I'm going to walk you through a couple songs today. One's just kind of a refresher, one we did in class that we would be kind of recapping to make sure that we still have it. We're going to start on page 11 with Aura Lee. It's in the middle of the page. And I'm just going to remind you that if you didn't bring your book home or you had lost your book mid-year or something like that, it's available on my Google site, which is exactly where you're probably getting this video from. You just, here there's a tab marked Lessons, and a couple tabs over there's a link that says Recorder, and you can bring the book right up on there and play along with that music. And it's also got that page 33, page 34 finger chart, although I have been walking you through the fingerings and I'm going to keep doing that. So Aura Lee uses 5 notes. It uses G with 3 fingers and the thumb on the bottom, A with 2 fingers, B with just the 1 finger, and again we keep the thumb on the bottom for all that. It also uses C, thumb and middle, okay, and we leave that top hole open. And then D is going to have just the thumb sliding off and it opens up that hole on the bottom, okay? Now, hopefully you don't even need that anymore, but it's here for you if you do, okay? And also at the front of the book, around page 2 or so, there's the diagram of the notes on the staff so that you can kind of translate them and read them as you need. So with Aura Lee, we are starting on G. It goes G up to third space C, third line B, third space C, kind of like this. And then kind of the toughest part in this one is the D jumping down to A, back up to D, because you have to slide that thumb off and then back on, okay? So that second measure, D-A-D, looks like this. The rest of that line 1 is stepwise. That means all the notes are kind of in a row. C down to B, down to A, back to B. They're all next to each other. So if we kind of combine the last 2 measures, C, B, A, B, and then half notes on C, jump down to G, okay? This is what the end of that first line sounds like. Okay? And keep in mind, those half notes need to stretch out twice as long as the quarter notes. The second line is pretty much the same thing. The only difference is that on the last measure of the first line, we go C to G. That's what we call a turnaround. It makes it so that the song doesn't sound like it's over, like there's a little bit more to come. At the end of the song, we just have a whole note C. Just holds on, so it gives you some resolution. It makes the audience know the song's over, there's no more to come. So here is what Aura Lee sounds like all together. I'm going to give you a count off so that you can play with me, okay? So you can listen to me play it and then you can rewind. I'm just past the 3 minutes and 10 seconds part and try and play with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so really you should be able to play that hopefully with me, but also try it on your own. In fact, you might want to try it on your own a few times for a couple reasons. Number one, I don't know if you can have the music and the video up at the same time unless you have your printed book. And number 2 is just so you have a little bit more control over your own tempo. You may find that you want to play that at a speed, at a tempo closer to this. And that's absolutely fine. Remember, the most important thing is not that we're playing it fast, but that we're playing it steady so that all the quarter notes get the same pulse, the same tempo, okay? Next thing we're going to go and look at is we're going to go to page 17. And on page 17, we're using something called a key signature, okay? We had talked, when I introduced Lightly Row as a belt song, we had talked about what a sharp note is. It's basically a little symbol. It kind of looks like a hashtag, and you can see it right at the top of page 17. It's also on page 16. that makes the note just a little bit higher sounding. Okay, so F and F sharp, they may share that letter F in common, but they're going to sound a little bit different. So this is what an F sounds like, and this is what an F sharp sounds like. Okay, so you can hear they're very close, but they are two different sounds. And if we substitute one for the other, then it's going to make the song sound kind of incorrect. Okay, so what a key signature is if you look at the number "Sweetly Sings the Donkey," there are no sharps in front of the notes. Remember, sharp is that hashtag looking thing. Instead, the only sharp sign is right after the treble clef and before the time signature. And it's all the way up on that top line. And if you remember your note reading, top line is "Every good burger deserves fries." F on that top line. And what that tells us is that every single F, doesn't matter whether it's on the top line or whether it's down in the first space, as in face, every F in this song is going to be sharp. Okay? They basically do this to save a little room, to keep from putting too many symbols in one place and making your music look crowded. Okay? Now, we learned F over the last, we learned it in class, and then we've reviewed it a couple times here. F is going to be setting up like G, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, and then the 1 and the 3, leaving that open. F sharp is a little bit different. With F sharp, we're going to leave this hole right here open, okay? And we're going to use our middle finger on the right hand to put down that one, ring finger to put down the next one. So you should have an open hole down at the bottom and an open hole right there where the pointer would go. And it's super important that you use the middle and the ring there, because eventually we're going to have notes that use the pointer down there, or even a note that uses everything. So we want kind of that hand all set up. We don't want to be jumping all around here when we could just kind of leave those fingers in one place. Okay, so the note F sharp, and remember, the more fingers we add, the lower the sound's going to be, and also the softer we have to put the air in to keep from overblowing. And F sharp should sound like this. Okay, so you want to kind of try that out. You can do it in quarter notes, you can do it in half notes, whole notes, just to kind of get the hang of it. So I'll run through some of those for you. Here's F sharp in quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here it is in half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here it is in whole notes, and I'll just play 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and what you can even do is kind of make a longer exercise where you switch between all of those. So I'm going to do one right now where I do quarter notes, half notes, and then a whole note on the end. So 3 measures total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can try along with that, try and get a good tone on F sharp, and you can even practice going back to page 16. There's an example right at the top called Let's Play F Sharp. And it actually does a lot of the same things we just did with that practice exercise. It's all F Sharp. I do want you to notice in the second measure, if you're looking at Let's Play F Sharp, there's a sharp sign in front of one, but not the other. That's because once we put a sharp sign in, it changes all the other notes in that space, or if it's on a line, on that line. So if we're looking at that, we've got a whole note F Sharp, 2 half note F Sharps. Measure 3 is quarter notes. It's going to be F Sharp, rest, F sharp, and another whole note on the end. This is what Let's Play F Sharp is going to sound like. Again, I'll give you a count off. You can listen to this, rewind it back, and then try and play along with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the idea. So spend a little time with F sharp, get really comfortable with it, and you can even practice kind of going from the different notes that you know really well into F sharp. You could go from G to F sharp, from A, B, C and D are a little more difficult, but you can do it. D is definitely going to be the toughest one. And even you could go from F to F sharp. Oh, if you set it up right, that is. 1, 3. And actually, if you master that one, you can even play the Jaws song. Which, let's face it, sounds really, really awesome on a recorder. All right, guys, practice F sharp. Next week, I'm going to leave you a video jumping into Sweetly Sings the Donkey on page 17. If you want to look ahead, you're always welcome to, but that's what next week's video will have. So we'll walk through that together, and we'll probably do another older one, kind of like we did with Aura Lee today, right? So keep picking those things up, keep working on them, and watch this, rewind it back to whatever parts you need. Hopefully it helps. Okay, miss you guys. Take it easy.